All right, Rabosai, good afternoon, everyone. A Zechus Baruch Hashem. First, I want to welcome Paul Pollack, who I decided to make an honorary member of the Aruch Kala, considering Baruch Hashem, all the fact that pretty much Paul is involved with anything to do with Talmud Torah in our show. So, Paul, welcome. I'm happy the Zoom link finally worked. All right, Rabosai, so we are Meretz Hashem continuing today in Simin Dalid Sif Beis. So the Kitzur writes as follows. Remember again, the topic of this particular chapter in Kitzur is proper conduct when relieving oneself. So the Kitzur says as follows: a person should be modest in the bathroom. Therefore, lo yikalas atzma achi yeshev. Person should only uncover himself ultimately again once he sits down. Now, obviously, when he's referring to over here tznius, ultimately, again, he's referring to really when one is defecating. You're going to see it makes a distinction between defecation and urination. So he says, and even when sitting down and defecating, one should only uncover the parts of their body that they need to in order to properly relieve themselves. Person should be careful with this both by night and by day. And if a person is relieving themselves in a place where there are no walls, let's say a person's out in the field, there's no mechitzos, there's no walls, there's no barriers, and a person should have be facing the south and his back to the north, or lehefech. In other words, that if you're going to be defecating out in the open, so a person should be facing north-south. North-south. In other words, it doesn't make a difference which way it is, front, north, back, south. That doesn't make a difference. The point over here is, aval bein mizrach lamayriv aser. One should not be facing, ultimately, again, east-west. Which, of course, again, we understand the logic of that. The logic of that being that a person, when they're relieving themselves, should not go ahead and face in the same direction that one would be makbid to go ahead and face when davening. So again, now just to be clear, this is talking about where one is out in the open. There are no mechitzos, right? There are no barriers, no walls. V'myesh mechitza, but if there is a wall, i.e., again, a person is relieving themselves in a contained area, then ultimately, again, a person could really go ahead and take care of their bodily needs, ultimately, again, in any way, as long as their backside is facing the mechitza. The idea is that as long as there's a wall towards my back, then halacha l'maisa, again, a person could go ahead and relieve themselves in any particular direction. All of this is talking about defecation. Again, as I mentioned before, when it comes to urinating, these particular type of hakpados, these details, do not apply, and one is permitted to go ahead. Apparently, it appears that with urination, one is permitted to go ahead and do that in any direction. A person shouldn't defecate in the presence of any other person, even a non-Jew. So this you have to be careful with, right? But apparently with urination, you could do that anywhere in front of anyone. Now, again, take that with a grain of salt. What the Halacha is trying to convey to us is, whereas there are limitations on the tznius of relieving oneself in terms of defecation, those same considerations do not apply in terms of urination. Now, why is that? Why is it, interestingly enough, when it comes to urination, the Kitzur says, you could do it anywhere in front of anyone. What's the pshat? Mishum sheyesh sakana im ya'atzras atzma. Remember again, this goes back to the halacha that we saw yesterday, that from the perspective of Chazal, there was a physical concern, like literally, again, an anatomical, a sterility concern, if one holds back urination. So because there's an element of sakana, because there's an element ultimately, again, of physical danger, therefore Chazal felt that as soon as a person needs to urinate, they should be able to do so, and the tznius considerations that apply by defecation no longer apply here. Mikom makom yesh listalik litstadim. But halacha l'maisa again, but nevertheless, even with urination, even though technically one could do it anywhere in front of anyone, one should go ahead and find a little bit more of a private area to this. I suppose it's obviously, when we see these halachas, they sound like a little bit interesting to us, but that's because also we have indoor plumbing, because we have established bathrooms. But understand, this was the bread and butter of daily living not so long ago, trying to figure out how to defecate, where to defecate, in front of whom, urinate, all these different kinds of things. The takeaway message for us, and again, we're going to expand on this theme in Meretz Hashem in future shurim as well, is the need for tznius. is the need for a sense of modesty. That again, the way one uncovers oneself, the way one conducts oneself, the din of modesty is not just in how we dress and not just in how we talk, but the truth is modesty governs all of our behaviors, even the most base ones. All right, so stop over here for today. Shkoyach, everyone. Such a schosronot, everyone. What's today? Oh, today's Thursday. Okay, so this is it for this week. Emirat Hashem will continue Emirat Hashem into next week. Shkoyach, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, Rabbi. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you. Good to be here.
Great to see everyone.